Survivor Game Changers preview everything you need to know. Boom. And we're back. As the world seems to be crumbling down around us, with uncertainty and disparity filling the hearts of many, there's one steady, reliable rock you can always count on: Survivor. On Wednesday, March 8th, Survivor is back for its 34th season with an extra-long, 120-minute premiere episode, beginning at 8 p.m. EST, on CBS. Yes, the one thing that I hear people ask me all the time from people who don't watch the show is, Survivor. That show is still on. Well, not only is it on, but it's going strong. Wednesday's premiere marks the 500th episode of the show, the longest-running reality competition show on TV, with no signs of stopping anytime soon. For those counting, CBS released some unbelievable stats to celebrate the occasion. Survivor has now been on for 17 years, with 498 contestants competing over 18 countries, 110 tribes, and 1,290 days, and the show has earned 56 Emmy nominations. There have been 46 states represented. Can you guess which 4 have not? And they've recorded over 99,000 hours of footage. There have been 14 medical evacuations, 511 torches snuffed, and 48 hidden immunity idols used. The oldest player, Rudy Bosch, was 76, and the youngest, Will Wall, was 18. Counting Sandra's double win, there have been 19 male and 14 female winners crowned as sole survivor. Not that anyone's counting, of course. All of this culminates in Season 34, Survivor Game Changers, a so-called all-star season that will see 20 returning players come back to compete for the ultimate prize of $1 million and that elusive title. I am here to get you set and ready for this season, so buckle in and let us talk some Survivor. So first off, I welcome back those that followed me last season, my first covering the show at Reality T, and offer you up a bit of an introduction. Heck, if you like Survivor, we'll be spending a good deal of time together the next few months, so you might as well get to know whose voice you're reading/listening to. More on the listening angle later. For my longtime fans, you know that I've covered Survivor professionally for the now defunct Examiner.com as the Survivor Examiner since Season 20, Heroes vs. Villains. I've interviewed all of the big names in the Survivor universe, and I am the only web-based member of the Survivor Press Corp to be a part of the executive voting committee for the Survivor Hall of Fame, even though my continuous support to induct Survivor Thailand winner, Brian Heidick, still seems to be falling on deaf ears. I sure do appreciate your support, and I may be biased, but I do think that the Survivor community is one of the absolute best, most loyal, and fervent TV show communities out there. It has been an honor and a dream to be a part of it in this capacity for so long. With my coverage here at Reality T, you can expect the following all season long. Weekly episode preview article every Wednesday morning. Get caught up and back up T0 speed as I preview the night's new episode, often with exclusive clips or content. Weekly episode recap/analysis. Join back late every Wednesday night following the episode for my full reaction and recap. I am on the East Coast, so sometimes my recap does post before the West Coast airing, but I try to keep all spoilers out of my headlines and before the article break. New this season, exclusive weekly exit interviews. Last season I did not do exit interviews, but this season, you can expect exit interviews each and every Thursday, usually by late afternoon/evening, with each contestant voted out of the show. I get 15 minutes, one-on-one, with every castaway, so if you do have questions you would like me to ask, please leave them in the comment section on the recap article. New Film Survivor podcast. Best of all, this season I will be podcasting the full exit interviews each and every week. That means you can hear the actual interviews that I do, and they'll be posted right here on Reality T. I'll be podcasting more than just the exit interviews, with occasional bonus podcasts mixed in as well, like next week's premiere episode recap podcast with special guest, Gordon Holmes from Xfinity TV.com. Movie reviews, and lastly, for those that like or want to support my writing or voice, you may be happy to know that I am also the national film critic for AXS.com, where I write weekly movie reviews on all of the latest movies hitting theaters, and I also appear on 2 TV shows in the Midwest, the syndicated Movie Show Plus, check local listings, and also on Critically Speaking on Fox 2 in Detroit. Now didn't I promise we'd chat about the upcoming season? Let us get at it. Survivor, Game Changers. The title itself can be taken with a grain of salt, as some of the returning players not only didn't change the game but you'll be hard-pressed to remember them. Others though, well, it was only a matter of time until they'd be back. Here's the rundown of who is on the show, separated by their starting tribes this season. The Mana tribe. Michaela Bradshaw previously played on Season 33, Millennials vs Gen X, finished 14th. You may remember, she was an absolute beast at challenges but sort of played the game a bit too hard, revealing her hand strategically and leading to her demise. You may also remember that death glance she shot Jay once blindsided. Aubrey Bracco, Season 32, Brains vs Brawn vs Beauty runner-up. Everybody seemed to love Aubrey and many thought she should have been crowned winner over Michelle Fitzgerald. Sandra Diaz-Twine, Season 7, Pearl Islands winner, Season 20, Heroes vs Villains winner. It's hard to argue that the game's only two-time winner isn't the game's best player, but it's a debate that has raged on for years. Sandra puts her reputation on the line playing the game for a third time. Sierra Easton, Season 31, Second Chances finished 10th, Season 27, Blood vs Water finished 5th and jury member. Sierra is probably most remembered for having voted out her own mother, and forcing a rock draw. She is a tough and memorable player, getting her third chance at the game in the past 4 years. Malcolm Freeberg, Season 25, Philippines finished 4th and jury member, Season 26, Caramone finished 9th and jury member. Everybody loves Malcolm and remembers him, so what can I add? Holly Ford, Season 30, White, Blue, No Collar finished 11th and jury member. Of all of this year's cast, the inclusion of Holly seemed to be the real head-scratcher. A game changer. Many don't even remember who she was. Holly was a no-collar player who did make the jury, and recently Jeff Probst called her the hottest girl ever to play the game. Will her relative anonymity be a virtue for her this season? Caleb Reynolds, Season 32, Brain vs Brawn vs Beauty medically evacuated. Another head-scratcher, as Caleb, as likable and loyal as they come, never even attended a single tribal council during his medical evacuated season. But those that remember him as Beast Mode Cowboy from Big Brother know that there is a lot more to Caleb than meets the eye. Troyson Robertson, Season 24, One World finished 8th and jury member. Good old Troyson was passed over during the Second Chance Fan Pick'em season, but this guy was a beast during his original run, in a season that was dominated by strong women. Jeff Varner, Season 2, Australia finished 10th out of 16 and non-jury, Season 31, Second Chances finished 17th. Everybody was happy to see old schooler Varner return for Second Chance, and he instantly made us all feel proud of the decision. Varner was pure joy to watch on TV, and a real character. He is sure to be a fan favorite once again this year. Tony Vlachis, Season 28, Brawn vs Brains vs Beauty winner. A recent Survivor Hall of Fame inductee, Tony is known as one of the best winners in the new school era of the game. Sure, he created the Spy Shack, and sure, he does a mean Yama impression, but Tony's aggressive gameplay and style will likely make him a humongous target this time around. We'll see how good this guy really is now that the word is out that he is a cop who isn't afraid to outwit or outplay. The Nuka tribe. Andrea Bolk, Season 22, Redemption Island finished 5th and jury member, Season 26, Caramone finished 7th and jury member. Andrea is a great player who was once the only serious threat to Boston Rob's game. It's now been 4 years since her last time out though, so we'll see how that changes her approach. Brad Culpepper, Season 27, Blood vs Water finished 15th out of 20. In Exit Press, Brad was always very frustrated that he was a part of a loved one season, not because he didn't like playing with his lovely wife, Monica, but because he felt like that distracted him from playing his own game, and rightly so. Now is the former NFL player's chance. Sierra Dawn Thomas, Season 30, White, Blue, No Collar finished 5th and jury member. Another that can go in the head-scratcher category, Sierra played a relatively safe game and didn't do anything all that memorable. Oh well. Siri Fields, Season 12, Panama finished 4th and jury member, Season 16, Micronesia finished 3rd and jury member, Season 20, Heroes vs Villains finished 17th. One of the game's all-time greats, and another Survivor Hall of Famer, Siri is now getting her fourth chance to take home a win. She was the original example Probst always used to display how people can just get off the couch and go play Survivor. Well, Siri is always a threat to win, and one of the most socially aware players the game has maybe ever seen. When she played the game the last time, however, every other returning player around her knew that they couldn't let Siri slide. Will this group be as unforgiving? Sarah Lachina Season 28, Brains vs Brawn vs Beauty finished 11th and jury member. Sarah may not have been on the top of everyone's list of players they'd like to see play again, but I for one am happy with this pick. Sarah was a tough customer, and as a cop herself, was one of the only players that was able to sniff out Tony's lies during her season. She didn't quite have the social game to overcome Tony's though, so we'll have to see if she can up her game this time around. Oscar Ozzy Lust Season 13, Cook Islands runner-up, Season 16, Micronesia finished 9th and jury member, Season 23, South Pacific finished 4th and jury member. Another iconic old schooler, Ozzy is simply one of the most dominant physical threats the game has ever seen, but he is now 35 and has been out of the game for over 5 years. He has always fell short socially, and I am not sure you can change stripes so easily, but Ozzy will be given a fourth chance to do just that. Zeke Smith Season 33, Millennials vs Gen X finished 9th and jury member. Zeke was clearly one of the standouts last season, and phenomenally, he went from fan favorite to villain over the span of just a few episodes. Is Zeke likable? Is he someone you're rooting against? He'll have the advantage in that none of these other players save Michaela know anything about him. His season aired after this season taped last summer. James J.T. Thomas Season 18, Token Teens winner, Season 20, Heroes vs Villains finished 10th. Now here's a solid game changer. JT won the game, being pulled through some would say by the more strategic Steven Fischbach back in Token Teens, but JT that season put up the first Survivor perfect game, meaning that he won by unanimous vote, while at the same time having never had received any votes against him throughout the course of the season. His second time out, he hysterically miscalculated Russell Hantz and slipped him a hidden immunity idol during a challenge only to be voted out post-merge. But even though that move blew up in his face, nobody can ever say he wasn't trying to change up the game. Tai Trang Season 32, Brain vs Brawn vs Beauty second runner-up. Tai was one of the clear all-stars to emerge out of Season 32, who controversially sided with the two bullies that season, Jason and Scott. As frustrating as some of his in-game decisions were, he also brought us Mark the Chicken, and seemed to be the purest, nicest of guys. Has Tai grown in the game? Will he adopt any island pets? Will he stay true to any of his alliances? Tai is definitely a game changer, just his mere presence gives the game an air of unpredictability. Debbie Warner Season 32, Brains vs Brawn vs Beauty finished 9th. Some called her female coach the tribe crazy lady who had more stories than she did days in the game. Debbie though, proved to be a savvy player, who was able to use her eccentricities to go deep in the game. In a game full of huge personalities, Deb will either be right at home this season, or will try to go even bigger and make herself an early target. What else do we know about this season? Well, don't think it's called Game Changers just because of its players. Jeff Probst also promises several twists and turns that will be sure to keep this attentive cast on their toes. First and foremost, Probst has announced that there is a big change to the way that tiebreakers will be handled at Tribal Council, in that there won't be any. Yes, there will no longer be a revote after a tie vote, and if in that moment the tribe can't unanimously decide which person to send home, then those two will be safe and the remaining players will immediately draw rocks. They are also going to changing up how hidden immunity idols are introduced into the game, getting away from any patterns that the players could pick up on, like looking in reward baskets, or knowing like last season that they would be found in painted coconuts. If you scrolled down to the end, I'll make this simple. Follow me on Twitter at TomsonTilly or by going to TomsonTilly.com, and then tune into CBS this Wednesday, March 8th, for the 2-hour premiere episode of Survivor, Game Changers. It's going to be epic, and I'll be here all season bringing you episode previews, full recaps, and reaction, and exclusive exit interviews every week. including podcasts where you can hear the entire interview. I am so excited to be back, and I look forward to what will surely be another awesome season.